Hey, everybody. Happy first day of October. I am back with some motivation to help you get unstuck and create a life you don't have to escape. It's been a minute, and it's because I move with cause and calling and intention and not by a calendar. So I am led to share when it's time for me to share. And today is a good time. These are some thoughts that I had as I was driving. And so it's about confidence. And if you got it all squared away, if you are confident in every situation around every person and every event, then keep it moving. You don't even have to listen. Don't waste your time. But before you scroll, send it to somebody else. Okay. But for the rest of us, probably the majority of the population, including Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama, because I've read their books and they've talked about this very same thing, I want to share three strategies that you can use, three strategies that I have used to help me walk in confidence, walk in my full authenticity, walk in boldness, so that when you see me and I'm smiling and I'm talking, like this is my life. I don't have to pump myself up. I don't have to drink coffee and go, rah, rah, rah. I'm going to be this. This is who I am. And the outward appearance embodies how I feel on the inside. But that wasn't always the case. And it didn't just happen by osmosis. It was intentional, it was practice, and a lot of prayer. Because when I think back to being a younger girl, I heard things like, you talk all the time. Or how about this? Being in class and raising my hand when the teacher is asking, well, who wants to answer this question? And me for the third time raising my hand because I know the answer. The rest of the class is sitting back, not wanting to answer. And I'm enthusiastic and I'm eager to answer, but then being told she thinks she know everything. Or even the teacher saying, not right now, Sherlonda, we're going to let somebody else answer. And you may say, well, what's the big deal about that? The big deal about that is I was learning at a very early age that even if I know something, even if I'm excited about something, let give everybody else a chance. Even if they don't want to, you just sit back and begin to mute yourself. Or if I saw that the teacher or someone was doing something and maybe they could use some help, I might say, oh, can I help? And sometimes the teachers would say yes, sometimes they say no, thank you. And then hearing students say, well, she's a kiss up or she's a teacher's pet. But those were leadership skills that were just waiting to come out. And back then, I don't think we had coaches, maybe some mentoring. So it would have been nice to have somebody to walk alongside to tell me how to properly channel that, because these would be the very characteristics that I would use along the way into my adulthood to help me be successful in a lot of different areas of life. And even being told that you talk back, or you don't think about what you say and how it may affect other people. I've always been very quick witted. I think fast, and again, that was a way for me to say, okay, well, I should think about what other people think. So let me process this and maybe just not say anything at all. There is a thing as emotional intelligence, yes, and that's something that can be learned. But again, anytime we swing from one side of the spectrum all the way to the other, then that can be detrimental to us expressing who we are fully and authentically. Okay. So for us as adults, regardless of what you experienced as a child, maybe you were given like the opportunity to fully express yourself, and if you have, like, I commend you and I hope that you have channeled that along the way. But for those of you who are kind of like, well, I'm not quite sure, and you can find that it pokes its head up at different parts of your life, I'm going to tell you some of the things that I've done, and I would encourage you to follow along with these steps if you think they would be helpful. The first one is I created a mantra a couple of years ago, and that mantra says, I trust who I am. I am safe to be me. And what that means is, I know who I am. I know that I have so much goodness in my heart. I love being able to support people. I love celebrating people. I love showing up for people when I can. And I love helping people move from a place where they feel like they're stuck or a place of darkness, and just walking with them until they can see a different perspective and see that it's not as bad. Absolutely love that. That is goodness. That is something that God has put inside of me. That's part of my gift and my medicine to the world. So I trust who I am. I know that I would not intentionally hurt someone, set out to, mistreat somebody, do anything malicious. So if I know that, then I'm safe to be me. I'm safe to say what it is that I want to say, love the way that I want to love without thinking that I'm hurting someone. So it allows me to walk in that freedom. Create a mantra, that applies to you. And if you can't think of one and you want to borrow mine, hey, go for it. It's not trademarked, at least not yet. Second thing is, I want you to observe yourself over the next couple of weeks, and I want you to pay attention to ways that you may find that you mute yourself. And you may think, like, what does that mean? Glad you asked. I'll give you an example. So, muting yourself. Remember, I talked about being younger and being excited, wanting to help, offering to help, wanting to say the answer. Well, now as an adult, what does that look like? So maybe there's an issue going on in society, and I have like this burning desire or, this unction to say something about it, but it's like, no, I better not. Other people, I'll sit and let other people answer, let them answer the call, let them go forth and handle it. That's what it could look like. Now, this is kind of transparent, extremely transparent. But again, I'm confident now. I'm almost 50 years old. So I have waited to get to this age. I have prayed to get to this age so I could be like the aunties who could say what they wanted to say, because you can very rarely embarrass them. You know what I mean? Everybody probably has some people like that in their families, but I can remember being younger and walking, just walking by, minding my business. And somebody saying, an older person in the family, female in the family, why are you walking like that? What you switching for? Why are you twisting? I'm not twisting. I'm not switching. I am just walking with the hips and the thighs that God has given me. But because it was called out and said with such a negative connotation, what do? I'm going to try to walk different. I don't know how. Maybe I'll take shorter steps, or I don't know, just not walk as freely, because I don't want to come across as, fast or promiscuous or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to change the way I walk. And also I'm going to walk with a little more, apprehension, kind of tiptoeing my way in. That is not okay. That is not okay at all. So fast forward over the years. So when you see me and I'm walking with my back up, my shoulders back, and whether I'm switching or twisting or whatever, that is just the way I walk. And I remember a friend of mine, we were on a retreat, and she was capturing some footage for me. And when she sent it to me, she had a video of me, and I was walking, leading the way. And I said, girl, is that how I walk? And she was like, yeah. I said, man. And she said, I didn't know. She said, I thought you were just swinging it a little extra that day. I was like, wow. And I asked my husband, he was like, yeah. He said, I love your walk. And that's all it took, y'all. He said he loved my walk. But what I'm saying is, just me being me, the freedom to be me without thinking about what is somebody else going to think, because we cannot manage other people's thoughts and expectations. That's actually unfair. That is mental anguish to try to do that. If you trust who you are, you're free to be you. You know you're not ever going to do anything to hurt anybody else. How it's taken, that's not on you. That's not on you, because all of us are different. We grew up in different households. We grew up in different cultures. We grew up with different hurts. And sometimes people still have triggers, and which kind of show up on the outside as, exposed scars and scrapes. And so easily somebody could do something or say something, and somebody could feel offended unintentionally, but it is possible. And that's why dialogue is required. As long as we're interacting with human beings, we will always need to, confront, so that we can get these things cleared out. But again, if you try to live your life managing other people's potential reactions, that is not freedom, and you are not living authentically the way that God wants you to live. So, number one, your mantra. Number two, paying attention to ways that you might be muting yourself. And that's a personal question. That's something that you can think about. I've shared a couple of examples with you. And then the third thing is, and this one might hurt a little bit. Ouch, 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 ouch. I hear this a lot. I hear people say, well, I keep my circle small because, people always try to put me down, or they, look at me sideways or try to dissect things that I do. And I don't give all my love because people around me, they're takers, they're takers. Okay. And I understand that, I've seen it. I observe a lot of things, but my charge to you is this: expand your circle. There are billions of people on this planet. Okay. And I guarantee you that there are people that will appreciate the gifts that you have, will appreciate the love that you have to give, and they will reciprocate it. So not only will you be giving, but you will be receiving. There are people who will celebrate you, will clap for you, will not try to misinterpret things that you are saying. And if you have not found your tribe yet, keep looking, okay? Seriously, again, I hear this a lot. And in my own life, my own personal testimony is when I started expanding my circle, that's when I started finding more people who were like-minded and wanted to grow in the same direction, loving people. So don't be misguided by thinking that the people who are around you represent everybody in the world. Find your people. What are you interested in? Do you like to read? Join a book club. Shout out to Books and Desserts World Club. Do you like gardening? Do you like playing golf? Find other people who have the same interests. And you can go beyond your physical, geographical location with the technology that we have today. You could be chatting it up with somebody in New Zealand. So, again, don't sit there and dwell in that story that you're telling yourself that everybody around you is like that, because if they are, that's your indication that you need to take the steps, be proactive, and make a change. Do not get stuck in that. All right. So hopefully this was helpful. Not hopefully, I know it was. I know it was helpful because I get messages, text messages, and DMs from people often, and they let me know that this is helpful content, and I've felt led to share. So whenever I feel led to share, I know that there are people who will benefit from it. And so have a fantastic rest of your month. Happy October, and I'll see you next time. Bye.